Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Just Enough Trope News Hour. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
And we're here to bring you all the news that's fit to cast in the world of nerdy entertainment every Sunday night here on Twitch at 6 p.m. Central. We fired all the programmers. We've locked all the doors. I think we're getting somewhere.
I love the dumpster fire.
Well, I hope that a thing went out on Twitter that we're doing this because, yeah, the dumpster fire
Lord.
is real and you know about it. You know, here's an idea. Has anybody done this yet? A Twitter account for the sink.
For the sink? Oh, for his sink that he brought in?
Here's the new Twitter account, Elon Sink.
Yeah, and just have a picture.
He's like, I'm in now.
From that still.
I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
I was fired earlier today, but then I was rehired.
Can I ask you something? Maybe you can explain this to me.
Sure.
Why did he bring a sink in?
Oh my God.
I don't get it.
I didn't think I was going to have to do this, but I have to do this.
I literally don't get it.
Elon runs Twitter now.
No, I know.
No, I should never do I need to
Sorry.
go action? Elon runs Twitter now. Let that sink in.
Oh.
That.
Oh, I hate it.
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
I really hate it.
A rich guy bought a sink for a bit that honestly, I think you could easily turn into, I'm going to sink the company.
Yes, you honestly could.
Right, okay.
He didn't
Anyway.
think that long about it.
That's not really what we're here to talk about.
No.
We're here to talk about the fun news, the news that is nerd related. But before we get to that, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about the news.
Oh, okay.
So the sink is getting a divorce. What's going on with you?
What's going on?
You weren't ready.
No.
Every week I ask you.
I have something.
Okay.
I have a couple of things.
Oh, just one. Pick the
just
best
one. Okay. Well, okay. So I watched the series Heartstopper recently.
Oh, I've heard of that.
On Netflix. Yeah. Because I think there was a story a couple of weeks ago, and I was reminded of it, and I was like, you know what? We have Netflix. I'm gonna watch it. So I watched the whole series. It's rather short. They're only about half-hour episodes, and there's 8 of them. But
premise.
It's very sweet. So it's a teen LGBTQ show, LGBTQ focused show. Let me preface that. But it's a teen romance drama, essentially.
Right.
And
not funny.
Parts of it are funny,
Okay,
but
sure.
it's not overly focused on the funny. It's more dramatic, I would say.
Yeah.
But parts of it are fun. And one thing that I really liked about it was that there was a variety of people's sexuality that was that the characters were experiencing different. It wasn't just let me put it this way. It wasn't just one LGBTQ character focused on them.
Sure.
It was a lot of teenagers, and they were experiencing different things and different levels of comfortability with being out, different levels of being out, and just different sexualities as well, and different identities. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
And so I think that was really interesting because I feel like I haven't really seen that before in a TV show. I mean, there maybe to a little bit extent, but I feel like it's largely been focused on one LGBTQ character and then their friends, and maybe one or two of their friends is also experiencing something.
Yeah.
But the main idea of the show, the main thing you're supposed to take away from it is that it's up to, when you are LGBTQ, you identify as that. It's up to you how and when you want to come out and at what level you want to come out, or you're discovering your sexuality and you're wait, maybe I'm not straight, and like maybe I'm something else.
Yeah.
And I think that was really good and really interesting. And so a sad thing about it, I don't know if you've heard about this,
Yeah.
but the actor who played Nick Nelson, who in the TV show, he realizes that he's not straight, and he comes to identify himself. He's like, I think that I'm bisexual, is what he comes to realize.
Yeah.
But he's, so,
Well,
a lot of people in the real world were like, is he really bisexual, or is he straight? Is he gay baiting?
he's not a tree.
I know. It's just upsetting that we're still having the same conversation.
It's not upsetting. It's growth pains. It's
You think so?
growth pains in the way that we relate to our entertainment. Because not only a few years ago did Eddie Redmayne win a Best Actor Oscar for playing a trans woman,
No, I
or
know.
at least a person going male to female,
Yeah.
and is not that at all. And Thomas Lennon, remember from The State and Reno 911, has made a career out of playing gay people or people who are unconsciously gay or whatever, making
Right.
fun of it, and it's just straight guy. So once we have representation, and we've got this, a show like this sounds great for that.
Yes.
Then I always say this, like, when we have representation and we've eliminated discrimination, or at least to the point where these people can get jobs, then ScarJo can play whatever kind of tree that she wants. But in the meantime, she's, Matthew McConaughey won for, well, that guy was, bisexual, or he likes having sex with women. But like Jared Leto won.
Yeah, no, I know.
For playing a female. I don't really know what it was. I don't remember that movie very well. I'm falling apart in
Female
my explanation here.
presenting
But my point
character,
is,
yeah.
is that these are not the people that we need to be coming after if we are concerned about this kind of thing. And ultimately, yes, being an actor means playing somebody that you are not, and hopefully you would research and you would do the work to develop a character like that. But
Yeah.
when you've got Jared Leto just sweeping in and going, yeah, I'm just going to play this character, that's fine. That's what we have a problem with, not whether
Right.
this guy has enough letters after his name
Right.
to play this exact thing.
Right. And the thing that's upsetting to me, so a lot of the actors who are on the show are openly gay and out, but people didn't know Nick's sexuality, and he felt pressured to say something.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing that I don't like about it. And he wrote a tweet about it, and he's like, you guys obviously, I think some of you misunderstood, what you're supposed to take away from the show, that, it's your time to, you can take your time coming out and all this stuff. And people were upset because they saw him holding a girl's hand out in public, and they're like, oh, he's gay baiting. And
Isn't he supposed to be bisexual?
in the show, he's bisexual.
Yeah. All right. So what's the problem?
I know. But so then he wrote this tweet, and he was like, so, I'm bisexual. Thanks for forcing an 18-year-old to come out, and it's
right.
That's what I don't like.
And then,
forcing people to come
and
out.
earlier this year, there's an actor named Lucas Gage, who was in a similar situation. And he has been on, I think he was on 13 Reasons Why, and he's been on some of these like teen dramas.
Sure.
And he often plays a character who is either gay or is somebody who is like, discovering that they are not straight.
Right.
And people are like, and I think that, I don't know anything about his personal life, but
Sure.
I think it was a similar thing where they saw him with a girl or something like that. And they're like, what are you? And he's like, you don't know my alphabet. And it's like, it's true, but also you seem
Maybe
you seem
not
kind of
the-
straight. I don't want it to be one guy is totally right to point it out. The other guy maybe needs to let us know what's going on. But I think it does happen. I think that, I've pointed out before the Thomas Lennon example, or
Well, of course it does happen, but I feel like
the real point is, if you want to fix Twitter, make it
Oh,
so
Lord.
people can only make 3 posts a day. People
There
would
you go.
really, really think about what they wanted to post rather than just relentlessly attack
thread.
an actor who's just trying to do their job.
Oh God, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, and it's like.
So join us on Mastodon, where you can do whatever you want.
Oh my God, you had to explain Mastodon to me today.
After it was explained to me,
Yeah.
I really am not looking forward to learning how to Mastodon, but apparently we have to.
Isn't there a Cake song that's like Mastodon Farm?
There is.
That's what I thought of.
There is, yeah.
So yeah, that's what I thought of there.
Now let's have the buy versus pan debate.
Oh Lord.
We'll be here all night.
I know. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who's a YA author, and this is a big problem in the book world too, where authors, I mean, I don't know if it happens in other areas that aren't YA, it probably does, but authors who write about LGBTQ.
Stephen King, you don't really like lobster.
Right,
No,
exactly.
I love lobster. I eat it all the time.
You don't really live in Maine. LGBTQ characters, that are largely focused on that, they get accused of, gay baiting and queer baiting and like profiting off of characters that are LGBTQ, and like some teens who identify as LGBTQ get upset, and I understand this to an extent when they find out, but they assume the problem is they don't necessarily know how somebody identifies, and they assume, oh, they're straight because they haven't said what their, I don't want to say alphabet, but what their identity is.
It might, their alphabet. That's another thing.
I feel like that's just kind of you're being kind of dickish.
That's not a thing, is it?
Yeah.
People don't say that.
No.
So anyway, that's not what we were supposed to be talking about, but that's kind of a news story.
Sorry. What are you into?
Nope. Too late for that.
Okay.
You ate up all the time, and that's fine.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to figure out my alphabet.
Oh, stop.
Like we all are. But let's talk about some of our news stories for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Stories from the world of pop culture. And as usual, unfortunately, we've got a few RIPs to begin the show with.
Yeah.
It has come out just recently. I think the news was just confirmed today that Power Rangers star, everybody knows the Green Ranger, Jason David Frank, has passed away at the age of 49.
Yeah. And they said it looked like it was by suicide, which is extra upsetting. He was. So I want to preface this by saying I didn't personally watch Power Rangers, and I'm not necessarily a fan, but a lot of people are, and he was very active in the con scene, and he was at a lot of cons that we went to, and like, just from what I understand, very generous with his time with his fans, and really fans really liked him, and their interactions with him were all pretty positive. And this is even more sad because I was reading today that he has 4 kids, which is just like, it just breaks my heart. But I also read, and I don't know, everything that's going on in his life, obviously, but I just read that he's going through a divorce that started this year.
Yeah.
So
he's got a movie in the works, too.
Oh, jeez.
He kickstarted a movie called Legend of the White Dragon, which is in post-production. Yeah. So,
oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Obviously, the details are still coming in, and we just don't know the whole thing. And so this has been confirmed by some of his friends and co-stars, like Blake Foster and Amy Jo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just really sad. We have a funny story about Jason David Frank, but it just doesn't seem right to tell it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was by all accounts a really nice guy, and just really, if you've got, and he was a UFC fighter, like he was a real
MMA.
He walked the walk and talked the talk.
A lot of different disciplines too, from what I read.
Yeah.
A lot of different kinds of martial arts.
And it'd be real easy to get famous doing a kid's show and just go, okay, that part of my life is behind me. But I think he took it really seriously, and he really liked the fans. It was always at conventions, and so it's too bad. It's too bad to lose somebody who is really a part of this whole geek universe that we're talking about every day.
exactly.
That is very sad and unfortunate. It also is accompanied by another sad death from the world of sci-fi. The novelist Greg Bear has passed away.
Okay.
And Greg Bear is one of those sci-fi authors who, if you not, I mean, people know the big names like your Asimovs, your Heinleins, and that sort of thing. He's definitely up there. He is kind of like the sci-fi reader's sci-fi guy. A
Okay.
hard sci-fi writer.
Hard sci-fi.
Yeah, he's into hard sci-fi. Who has worked? The Forge of God series was his thing. Also,
Okay.
he wrote some of the Halo novels, the
Oh, sure.
Forerunner series, and he did a little Star Trek work too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he had been ill for a long time. He had been on life support, and so they,
Oh,
made a
no.
decision about what to do with him. But yeah, it's very unfortunate. He's one of those guys who just seems like a really nice guy, and he was also kind of active, in the scene, always going to cons and talking to people and being an active member of nerddom. So
That's really hard. That's always really upsetting when you hear about somebody who's, they're so ill that they're on life support, and just a heart-wrenching decision that their loved ones have to make.
yeah,
I just, ugh, that's hard.
it is. I don't. Let's slowly ramp up and transition back into good news
Okay.
by covering another story that isn't necessarily super exciting.
Okay.
And that story is that Chris Hemsworth will be taking a break from acting coming up here in the future, and he may be taking a permanent break from the role of Thor.
Um, I have mixed feelings about this because I do love him as Thor, although at the same time, did not really enjoy the most recent Thor film. I really, I enjoy the first. So okay, I enjoy the first Thor film, not so much the second one, and I enjoy the third one, and not so much the fourth one. So unlike Trek, like the odd number Thor films are the ones that I enjoy instead of the even. I mean, can we talk about why he's taking a
Well,
break?
I'm trying to, but
Oh,
yeah, I was just letting you talk.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so he's got a Disney Plus series that he is producing along with Darren Aronofsky, I believe.
Okay.
It's called Limitless, and
I
it is.
saw an ad for that.
It's kind of like I don't know, like a pop sci-fi science communication type thing where they talk about the limits of the human body, or pushing the limits of the human body through science.
Oh my God.
And in the fourth episode, which is about genetics, I guess this is part of the content of the episode, he finds out that he has a genetic predisposition to Alzheimer's disease.
Uh-huh.
And so it's the APOE4 gene. Both of his
Okay.
parents have it. As far as I understand, I don't think that either of his parents are sufferers of Alzheimer's, but it is, a genetic precursor
Yeah.
to having it. And so I think part of that experience for him was just kind of going, oh, might want to see my kids. You know what I mean? Like when you think about what he does, and now he's
Yeah.
doing not just like a movie where he's gone for a couple weeks or months. He's doing this TV show where he's traveling around. He's got a young wife and young children. And so I think he's thinking like, oh, all right, this is he's probably 41, right? 42.
Yeah.
The first time the doctor goes, maybe you take it a little easy. Your arm is tingling. Maybe take a little break. Only when he's doing this on a national stage in front of everybody. And so
I
he's just sort of
know.
like, maybe I don't want to do that goofy Thor movie. I'll just back off a little bit. And so he said specifically that he's going to take a chunk of time off, be with the kids, and be with his wife.
Okay.
And he also said that he didn't want to over dramatize it. Good job on your Disney Plus show. But I think specifically he was saying that he wanted to be honest about it. Have people also be aware of things like this, and just sort of live his truth and just take a little break.
I mean, okay, a couple things. I think it's good to bring awareness to this.
Yeah.
2, I think it's good for actors and anybody who is constantly working to take breaks and take time off and spend with their family. But 3, he knows that Alzheimer's doesn't usually kick in until you're a lot older than 41, right? And that, like, just because you have a predisposition gene doesn't mean that you're going to get it. Maybe it's just like a wake-up call.
Is there a gene for empathy? For human empathy?
I have empathy, but, like, at the same time, I'm like...
She hasn't reached that point yet, the first health scare.
No, I just... Look, I get it, but I don't know.
Youth.
Oh, stop.
Our next story is that Migahana is invulnerable, and to prove it...
Hey, no.
So anyway, our thoughts go out to him. Phantom Casual says in the chat that she supports him, and we do too, of course.
Yeah, of course I support him. I just...
And if...
Sorry.
If you're...
I feel misunderstood here.
She's kind of misunderestimated. And if you're going to go out on a particular film, maybe the end of Thor 4, nice way to go out, right? We don't have to follow that up.
I don't think we have to follow it up.
Yeah.
Honestly. I think it's okay.
New direction, for Thor. He's a god. He's an immortal god. He's going to live forever. We can't follow his story the whole way. Maybe that's a nice, change to his story. If you know how, I don't want to ruin the end of Thor or whatever the last one was called. But
Love and Thunder.
He moves on, and we know that he's still doing stuff. I think that's probably a good ending for Thor.
Yeah, I think so.
If that's the way they want to go. Let's go from endings to new beginnings.
Okay.
There's a new companion for the Doctor.
I know. I saw that.
She'll be played by Millie Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the companion for Shudigawa's Doctor.
Yes.
A character named Ruby Sunday.
Yes. It reminds me of the restaurant Ruby Tuesdays.
It reminds me of the Rolling Stones song Ruby Tuesday.
Oh my God.
So
is that what they're trying to do?
No word yet if this is some kind of reference to that 60s sound. This actress is very young and is really kind of just embarking on the beginning of her career.
Yeah.
She appeared on Coronation Street for 3 years. That is a long-running British soap, in the vein of EastEnders and all those other shows that we don't know anything about because we're Americans. But more pity us, right? And a few other series on ITV and CBBC. So this is exciting. We don't really know anything about what's going to come up. We know that obviously we've got a little time to spend with the 14th Doctor, David Tennant, before we move on to Shudigawa's 15th Doctor.
Yeah.
But this is kind of exciting. I'm going to quote you, and I'm going to quote you unknowingly quoting me. Oh, is this a blonde chick?
Okay. Well,
yep, it's just a blonde chick.
Sorry, that was my initial knee-jerk reaction.
Sorry, Millie.
Millie. And you're very young. You're a teen, and you have experience, so I'm sure it'll be good.
I'm sure she's going to be great.
And
this is not about Millie Gibson.
No.
This is about blonde chicks. Named Rose, Ruby, very similar. Mm-hmm. She wasn't a pop star before she got there.
No.
But it's like, RTD.
What are you doing?
What are we doing?
I know. Are we? And we have Tennant back. Like, let's not just play all the hits.
Do what we know.
Yeah, right.
Do you okay, there you go. Do you think that Tennant will regenerate alone, or will he pick up Millie Gibson's character, then regenerate into the 15th Doctor?
Oh, I have no idea. That's a really good question.
Not really. It's just kind of taking the pieces and just going, this happened.
I think they usually regenerate alone, right? It seems like it's kind of a personal thing.
Recently, although the last time I think somebody regenerated not alone, it was 9 to 10, Russell T Davies.
Yeah, right.
And David Tennant.
Yeah.
And Rose.
Yeah. I don't know. It's entirely possible.
I didn't say it. Phantom Casual in the chat says stripper name.
Wow.
I didn't say it.
No, I didn't say it either, but kind of, yeah. But I mean,
coming up now on stage 3.
Yeah, right.
It's
exactly.
Ruby Sunday.
But as you were saying, like, you know, we have to keep things in a certain frame of mind too. Like, we didn't know who Karen Gillan was at all when she was cast as the companion. And now I love Karen Gillan, you know, and she's somebody that I like to follow.
Yeah. With the pictures to prove it.
Yeah, that's right. Big arms around each other, smiling. So I don't know. Like, I'm sure it'll be great. I'm actually really excited to see what Shudi's gonna do as the Doctor, because I really like him as an actor.
I know this whole thing is kind of a slate clean. I kind of would have liked to have seen him bounce off of Yaz and Dan, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you're Mandip Gill and John Bishop, you're like, oh, what? So just screw me, I guess.
We're just done now.
Okay, all right, bye, everybody. Yeah,
right.
And I mean, that's what happens. A new showrunner, new doctor, new broom, right?
Yes.
But I always like to see the companions at least get to bounce off the new doctor a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know, this is it's a new era, or it's an old era, because we're just going back to
depending on
everything from
your
15 years
views.
ago. So
yeah,
whatever.
I know.
That's fine. So anyway, hopefully, no global pandemics or anything like that.
Yeah.
We'll be seeing the new Doctor and his companion in November of next year.
Wow. Okay. I'm excited.
They grow up so fast.
They do.
Let's talk about the growth, and particularly the growth of the film and the comic book film industry. A recent study has shown that Marvel fans have franchise fatigue, and DC fans, they just want to see single superhero movies. Knock it off with this whole universe thing. You got to do a universe of this. You got to tie it together with that.
You got a Batman versus a Superman.
Forget that.
Yeah. I think this is very interesting, and it just shows that both studios are doing the complete opposite of what the fans want. And I don't know. I think you and I were talking about this off air. I don't know.
Here are some more superheroes. Here's a Swamp Thing. Here's a werewolf.
Yeah.
Here's a She-Hulk.
Yeah, right.
And people are like, yeah, I got my things I like already.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And DC keeps trying to make a DC universe happen, and
we're bringing Ben Affleck back. We're bringing Henry Cavill back. People are like, I like Aquaman.
I know.
Where's Aquaman?
And people are like, stop trying to make the DC universe happen. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the standalone films, like Aquaman and Shazam. Like, they've done really well, and the Batman. So I wonder how much the studios are going to pay attention to this. It'll be interesting to see if they listen at all.
Maybe or maybe not. This survey was conducted by Fandom.
Okay.
Who, owns all the wikis and everything, and some YouTube channels. I mean, they're kind of like the closest thing we have to like a nerd variety, right?
Sure.
And so they've surveyed 5,000 fans between 13 and 54 years old.
Oh, that's a pretty big range.
The marketable people, the people with the money.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, not there yet. Although, you think he shouldn't wait. Anyway. So they, in their estimation, broke down fans into 4 categories. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to read these in order of intensity. Now, they really overthought this, but see if you get anything out of this.
All right.
You've got the advocates. They are the deeply invested fans. It is part of who they are.
Okay. Right?
These are the people who like Harry Potter, Star Wars, Stranger Things, Rick and Morty, Marvel, DC.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Then you've got the intentionalists.
Okay.
Remember, I didn't write any of this. I don't want to take the blame for any of this. These are the fans. This is the biggest. This is the middle of the bell curve. This is the biggest part. These are the discerning fans that are influenced by reviews and marketing, but also, sometimes will try new things. They're basically the fans, not the fair weather fans, but they're the ones who are just like the mainstream fans, right?
Okay.
Then you've got the culturalists. We're still going. These are the fans who are brought in by the buzz. So a popular film is out, right?
Like original Black Panther.
Black Panther 2, or Black Panther 2, which is still winning the box office 2 weeks in a row. Black Panther 2's out. Oh, I remember the first one. Yeah, I'm going to go check that out. These are the kind of fair weather fans. And they might jump on board because of water cooler shows like Ted Lasso or True Detective. And then there's The Flirt. The Flirt the Flirt is like the wave, the geth, the flood, singular. They're the dabblers. They're the people who will come in and out. They will possibly try to find common ground, but mostly are just there to check something out and then move on based on
I heard
buzz.
the Black Panther's good. I haven't seen all the other films.
Oh, the Office finale? I'll watch that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Who does that?
The Flirt.
Okay. All right.
The Flirt.
I don't understand the flirts.
Always The Flirt.
So listening to these ridiculous category names.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think I'm probably an advocate. But that's how I would identify myself. So question that you may or may not know the answer to.
I absolutely know the answer.
The people who took this survey, did they answer a bunch of questions and then it's like, you are an advocate, you are a flirt, or
you did ask a question I don't know the answer to,
or did they identify themselves?
I think it was probably an official survey, but you're suggesting that I'm browsing on Sailor Moon wikifandom.com and a banner ad comes up and goes, take this quiz.
I don't know. Is it
I
like
can see that.
Is it like a BuzzFeed quiz?
Isn't that the way you would do? Isn't that the BuzzFeed quiz?
Yeah.
Remember BuzzFeed?
I do.
Isn't that the way that what doesn't he buy BuzzFeed? Isn't that the way that they would do it online? No, I think this was an official survey.
Okay.
Because they want to turn this into marketing data, right?
So like
I'm sure that there are we know about the 4 dumb names, but I'm sure there is 90% of that iceberg is data that they want to offer to marketing firms and to companies and studios and rights holders. I don't like
that part of it.
But anyway.
Yeah. Anyways.
So I don't know. You were talking about whether Marvel or DC will listen to this. I don't know. Remember, this is fandom.com, so there is a slight tinge of respectability. But I think that,
and personal interest involved, honestly.
Well, see, but here's the thing. I think that the idea of as a critic, I don't want to be treated any differently. I've seen, the perception of criticism online really plummet in the digital age because there's review bombing. There are racist, sexist, homophobes who will just say something is bad just because they don't like the themes that they perceive to be in it. And so if you are going to continue to make films that are going to feature a wide range of sexes, orientations, and races, you just have to tune that out. Now, is it better to tune that out and miss some valid criticism? Yeah, probably. But there could be valid criticism that they're missing, like, hey, I don't care about Dr. Fate, even though I love Dr. Fate. Where's Aquaman 2? Just make the Aquaman 2 already.
Yeah.
And don't get, bogged down in the weeds as far as trying to build your universe goes. But if comes from an account, like Captain Marvel sucks .69 or whatever, then they're going to be like, well, even though other people might feel that way. Yeah. Okay, check this out.
Okay.
Little wisdom from the old parents, from the Wrens.
Oh my God.
My mom always told me that she was writing a letter about, I don't know, some steaks or something like that.
Your mom loves writing letters.
Yeah, but here's why she does it. Okay. Because she says, for every letter that they get, they assume that there's like 100 or 1,000 other people that might have felt that way and didn't say anything. Because they're not crazy people. Oh my God. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you have to take into account that, yes, if I'm getting a letter, it's from a crazy person, but that crazy person might have a point about our steaks.
Right.
So.
And maybe other people feel that way, but didn't say anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I feel like in my own personal life, do I have the gene for writing crazy letters? I need to take some time to step away from just enough trope to be with my family, to be with my kids. I try to balance it. So often I feel like writing a letter, but I ask myself, is it worth it or not? And sometimes there are institutions or products that I care about or I use a lot where I do go, you know what? I am going to try to write a letter. But a lot of the time I just go, I do what non-crazy people do, which is just, I'll never buy that again.
Right.
And then they'll look at their business sheet and they go, oh, we seem to have lost customers. I guess
Mm-hmm.
we need to put more Dr. Fates into it. It's like,
Yeah.
no, that they left. They voted with their feet and they left
Right.
because they didn't want the Dr. Fate. And again, sorry, Dr. Fate, you're taking a real pounding in this.
Just an
I
example.
do like Dr. Fate, and Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate.
I know.
Where's the Solo movie?
I know.
But not in the movie with all the other guys in the thing.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. I don't like when they try to cram too many characters and that are not necessarily even related into the same film.
It does feel like instant franchise, just add water, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And I think that
And to be
is
fair,
what DC's trying to do.
We haven't seen the movie.
No,
we
we haven't.
voted with our feet, so we don't really
Right.
know what we're talking about.
Right.
Let's talk about some of the great decisions that these companies are making, these franchises, and they have to do with casting and diversity.
Okay.
Something we were talking about before.
Yes.
Recently, Variety did an article where they talked to Amy Adams, who said that she is very excited about the fact that Henry Cavill is returning to the role of Superman.
Of course she is.
But she also says she hasn't been approached about appearing as Lois Lane.
Here are my thoughts on that. Like, first of all,
Stop,
oh,
drop, shut them down,
ooh,
open up a shop
oh,
where the only thing that we sell is me reporting that Daredevil star Deborah Ann Woll has said, Marvel has not called me to join the Disney Plus reboot of Daredevil.
yeah.
Close shop.
Okay, I've got two opposing views on this.
Oh, okay. Hit me.
First, I think it sucks that they haven't reached out to. I noticed both female stars.
Yeah. Now, the female stars,
Mm-hmm.
their names aren't on the franchise.
No,
But
they aren't.
do those franchises need those characters?
Right.
I would argue
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
yes.
they do.
Yes. Lois Lane doesn't get the butts in the seats, but Superman does not exist without Lois Lane.
I agree.
Does Daredevil exist without Karen Page? That's a more complicated story.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is a TV show in the vein of a superhero who has problems, who has a love life, so on and so forth, I would argue no. Not to mention the fact that Charlie Cox, love him,
Yes.
but he just sat on his ass for a couple years and did nothing, whereas Deborah Ann Woll has been out there, working
Yeah.
to the point where she showed up in God of War, and I was like,
She did?
is that Deborah Ann Woll? Yeah.
Who is she in God of War?
She is Kratos' wife, and I'm going to
Okay.
show you here
Okay.
because they're doing a thing now where they do the live action capture thing.
Oh, so they kind of look like their character.
And so I heard the voice and I was like, oh, it sounds kind of like her, but I'll show. You can't even see it, I guess, unfortunately. But anyway, people will know. Yeah, she's in the thing. So she's been working super hard. She deserves to be called back.
Yeah, I guess I have. This isn't exactly an opposing view, but I think that maybe it's a good thing for them to call it out, so like they can't get away with it.
And to be fair, they're not like.
No,
they're
no,
being
no.
diplomatic, but
They're-
they are. The point of these articles are,
Yes.
hey,
To get attention.
yeah,
I don't know how I feel 100% about them doing that, but I see their point of view and I understand exactly why they're doing it. And I do think that Hollywood and TV and DC and Marvel as well undervalue female characters and undervalue actors.
they're probably been paid less too.
Yeah.
And it isn't just the proof is in the literal action of the show.
Sorry.
Because it isn't just that they are disregarded, they're not thought of as much as and plus think like again, the only guy who's going to lose out here is Henry Cavill, but like Amy Adams, Oscar-winning actress.
Yeah, exactly.
Henry Cavill, right? Like it should be a Lois Lane movie or show that he is begging to show up in.
Yes.
But like they're not structured in a way where those women and those characters are indispensable. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm on their side, but when I think like a studio head, I go, so
we could do it without them.
you are showing up for Henry Cavill. You are showing up for Charlie Cox as superhero guy. and those other characters are side characters because of the way it's written. And even though I didn't keep up on it, I do really admire and I enjoyed what I saw of the show Superman and Lois.
Yes.
Which is a show that is a two-hander between Werewolf Guy and
I don't remember the actor's
Once Upon a Time
either.
lady.
Yeah, right.
Or no, she's on Grimm or something like that.
Okay, one of those two shows.
Yeah, one of the fairy tale shows.
Yeah.
Because it is about those characters and
As
their
a couple.
connection as a
Yeah.
couple and as a family, which is just so much better than like Punch Brainiac this week, I guess. Or...
Well, and like to bring up a show from the 90s,
Uh-oh.
Lois and Clark.
Wow.
I liked it. It was kind of
support
silly, but I liked it. It was two leads, you know?
Yeah.
And come on, Terry Hatcher, fantastic. But yeah, I do think it's a problem, and I do think it's because they're female characters and their names aren't on the show.
Yeah.
And I do wonder too, like how many other recurring characters for both of these franchises have gotten the call. Like, are there other actors too? Like, is Foggy on for Daredevil? Because if he is, then Karen should too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody's talked to Ellen Henson about him.
Like what's his name? Wilson Fisk. He's on, but he's the main villain. Yeah. You know, so
did he win an Oscar?
Did he? I don't know. I could believe it if he did. I just don't know if he did.
Pretty sure he was nominated for
Vincent
Full Metal Jacket.
D'Onofrio.
I don't know if he won
That's
or not.
his
Though.
actual name.
Anyway, so I mean, like, you know, that's not what we're really talking about here. We're just talking about the fact that, yeah, like, write interesting things for them.
Give them something to do.
And Zack Snyder goes, I did, man. She was like, you know, she's looking for whose bullet is this? Yeah, then you cut all that out of the movie. Well, he didn't cut it out of the movie. It was cut out of the movie.
And then she's like talking to, what is Clark's mom's name? I can't remember right now.
Oh my God.
Martha. Why would I forget? She's talking to Martha, and they're just sad about Superman. It is.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful to both of the actresses who are they are so much better actors than those scenes are. You know, that material.
Diane Lane is definitely grown as an actress. She has gotten good.
Yeah.
I don't think she was like, you know, like Streets of Fire. Like, she's not like.
But it's also Streets of Fire.
Yeah,
okay?
and it was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you've got Willem Dafoe, it's just like.
Well, Willem Dafoe, like every single thing I've seen him in, he shows up 110%.
Has he ever been bad?
Not that I'm aware of.
He was bad. Was it Days of Heaven that he was in where he said, yeah, I can speak Polish. And then he got to the set and they're like, go ahead. And he's like, oh, ski. Okay, I lied. I needed the job. He was bad in that.
I don't know.
He's bad in that.
Okay, I've never seen that.
Well, let's talk about actors. Let's talk about representation. Yes, the last story in this sequence is the apotheosis of all the themes that I have subtly layered into what we're talking about
Chef's
today.
kiss.
It's a big spicy meatball. And that is that Kumail Nanjiani wants to break the tyranny of the positive portrayal with his role in Welcome to Chippendales.
What?
I'm
sorry,
It's got sex. It's got murder. This story has everything. No, your brain is processing it right. You're going to go back and you're going to run it again. Run it again. Run it again.
Are we talking about
Enhance.
Like Rescue Rangers?
No, Chippendales.
Like the stripper Chippendales. Sorry. Chippendale Rescue Rangers. They're Rescue Rangers. I'm so confused.
I say go for it, right? If you've got a funny idea, but it's based on a possible misunderstanding, just go for it.
Okay, now I'm imagining.
That's a real life Gracie Allen, right?
Yeah.
So Gracie Allen knew that she was saying something silly. I say the silly thing.
Yeah.
Get the laughs.
Right.
And then pretend like you are comedic genius.
I meant to do that.
This is a story.
Okay.
This is a story
Yes.
which has already been made into a film once or twice. Naveen Andrews played this character, Soman Steve Bonjari,
Okay.
who was the creator of the Chippendales, the founder of the Chippendales Dancing Spectacular.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was played in a TV movie by Naveen Andrews, who was Saeed from Lost, amongst other things.
I like Saeed from Lost.
And he was involved with a, well, it's basically a plot to murder somebody, yada, yada, yada. You can look it up on your own.
Okay.
But it's one of those, like, it's not funny, but it's kind of like, huh, okay, interesting.
It's an interesting story.
And so the reason that they keep trying to make this into a story is because it's got everything that you want. It's got this interesting thing about this guy who was a immigrant to the
Yes.
U.S. He's a successful business. He starts this business. It's a business about sex. There's murder involved, and so it's this interesting story. And it's going to be a Hulu series, I believe.
Oh.
Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
And so Kumail will be playing it. Kept the muscles, huh? Guess you
Yeah, I think so.
see what happens.
Uh-huh.
See what happens. You get some muscles. You go from Oscar-nominated screenplay to playing a muscly murderer, an oiled-up murderer, allegedly. So anyway,
Oh my
and the
God.
reason that he says he was talking recently with the New York Times, and the reason that he says that he took this role is because he's looking to break the idea of the positive portrayal, the model minority thing. He liked the
Okay.
idea that this is a bad guy.
Okay.
This is a questionable guy. He, after The Big Sick, was approached by probably whoever paid for The Big Sick and goes, want to do a Big Sick 2? And he was like,
No.
there is no Big Sick 2.
The story.
It's my life. My wife is
part is
alive
over.
now. We're
Yeah.
married and we're writing comedies.
Yeah.
There is no 2. What
no.
are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
And so he didn't and I'm sure that he's had to deal with all this, but he's sick of even though he was a cab driver in that Dave Bautista movie, he's sick of seeing, Indian and Pakistani people playing the 7-Eleven guys and playing the
Right.
cab drivers and the whatever. And so,
Yeah, the stereotypical roles.
yeah. And I think good for him. But
Yeah.
I do think it's funny that it's like, I'm the nerdy comedian guy. Hey, what's up? It's funny people. And then it's like, well, I got some muscles because it's Marvel. It's Marvel. And then the next role is like, the tie stays on.
I know. It's just very different.
We've lost him. He only eats protein powder now.
Is he trying to? Okay, a couple follow-up questions. Does he feel like the first film, the film that you mentioned that portrayed this, does he feel like this guy who is a real guy, does he feel like he was portrayed too positively?
I don't know if he has any opinion on that. I didn't read that far into the article.
Okay. So is he just trying to break his image like a lot of kids who are child stars or whatever, I'm not a kid anymore. What somebody who comes to mind.
Kumail?
Yeah. Is that what he's doing?
I don't think that do you think he's trying to do that?
Well, he's a good guy, a funny guy. Is he trying to break the roles that he's usually cast in?
I don't know.
Okay.
All I know is you got a guy whose entire act is based on the fact that his arms are like pipe cleaners,
Yeah.
Before he became an Oscar nominee. And by the way, big guess who's executive producing this show on Hulu.
He is.
Him and his wife, yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you had a podcast called The Indoor Kids where you talk about video games and nerdy stuff, right?
Yeah, and his X-Files podcast. Don't forget that.
And you did which, you can have David Duchovny on if you're Kumail Nanjiani. But
yeah,
anyway,
of course.
Uh,
Not jealous about that at all.
not jealous.
No.
Did cancel my plans to do an X-Files podcast based on him making a podcast.
Yeah, well.
But the point is that he's seen this kind of success in this realm, and then it's like Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck had terrible teeth until he was in Armageddon because Disney paid, and I'm sure he would have been able to pay for it himself somewhere in his career, but Disney paid for him to get better teeth because he's going to be in a Michael Bay movie.
Right.
That was co-produced by J.J. Abrams. Everybody forgets that.
That's weird.
And so it's like, was Kumail only waiting for Disney to buy him a bunch of protein bars so he could be in a movie that A, nobody saw, and I loved.
Yeah,
I
I
loved The Eternals. I thought it was fantastic.
I need to watch
But
it
nobody
again.
saw it, and B, he wears a hoodie for most of the film.
I know.
So why did he even get the muscles? It just seems like he's like,
don't know.
thanks, Disney. All right, come on.
Let's use these muscles. Yeah, show it off.
Yeah.
Tie only.
Now he's playing Chippendales dancers.
Yeah, right. Where he's probably barely going to be wearing a shirt.
Which is it?
Yeah. So wait, he started this company, but he was also a dancer?
The Chippendales guy?
Yeah.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm not judging.
You don't think that there's going to be
you
some...
can definitely do both.
All right, now we got to check on it.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I ruined the whole thing. I apologize. He's going to be muscly wearing a tie only. This is happening.
All right, so a lot of these photos are him later on.
Okay.
No, you know what? Maybe he is, maybe he's not. He's pretty wide in this suit.
Looks like there's muscles under there.
Oh, no, his arms are like, no.
Massive?
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He's got a triangle-shaped torso like Batman.
Otherwise,
and
it would
Superman.
make no. Well, okay, all right. Now I'm really okay. Look, I'm not saying that. Okay, you little one little Jenga block, and the entire castle that I built came crumbling down.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it.
Look, I put this together about 2 minutes before we went on air.
No, I know, and you did an excellent job. I didn't mean to do that. I sorry. I guess I thought about it too much. So anyways.
Okay, I don't know if he was ever a dancer in the company that he formed.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to tune into the series on Hulu to find out.
No, this is not an ad for them.
I'm trying to save it. I'm trying to make it better. So
it's really hard. Thank you for vamping. It's hard to listen to you and read at the same time.
well, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that our audience has something to
I can't figure out
listen
if
to.
he was a dancer or not. But anyway, the point is that you see him in these. So the real guy, it's hard to tell because all you just see is Kumail now. He's got like a prosthetic like chin that makes it a little wider. But then he's sitting down and like he looks like his guns are huge in this suit.
Sure.
So unless that's completely inaccurate to the historical man, yeah, the guy probably was good looking, right?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't think this episode of our news show can survive what you have done. So we're gonna have to stop it right here.
I'm sorry.
Oh, we got a vote in the
Audience at
chat
home.
for my X-Files pod. All right. Well, I don't know. Maybe after it cools down a little.
Yeah. Right.
What's the next threshold that Gillian Anderson goes through as a performer that she's willing to talk about X-Files? Because I feel like right now she's like, I don't talk about that.
Yeah, she's kind of going through her British drama phase. Like, she moved over there. It sounds like she has a British accent. Some people think that she is British.
I'm going to say this flippant. She lived there for a while.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this like it doesn't mean anything to me, but know that inside my inner nerd child is just crushed and weeping. Is she a grandma yet? Does Piper have any kids?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. Well, maybe once she's a grandma, she's like, I look back at, think of all those crazy things I did.
Well, they did
standing on all those boxes, those apple boxes.
They did a couple more seasons, which I didn't really
for money.
watch. I know.
I'll do more seasons for money.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, Duchovny, I feel like has no problem talking about it, and like
because I feel like I can get to somebody who can get to her.
I mean, that would be freaking amazing.
I'm not making any promises.
Like she won't touch you during a photo shoot, and she does not want to be touched during a photo shoot.
It's all about my failed theory that Kumail Nanjiani is not a real nerd.
Yeah.
And all about the people the pictures that you've taken with famous people.
Yes, you're
and
right.
how they form a Zodiac killer mosaic
Well,
of some answer. They spell something out.
Yes. You cannot touch Miss Anderson during the photo. Okay. It was. I mean, I get it.
My
Like,
oppositional defiant disorder would have meant that the picture would be me going.
Yeah. Hovering finger. Yeah.
Not, usually like the.
Yes.
But mine would be like. Well,
I'm
I think
sure
that's it.
she had some bad experiences or
I'm
something.
positive she did.
Yeah, which is upsetting.
With
So
her co-star, Mr. David Duchovny. No, I don't know.
whoa, let's
The guy's.
let's not do that.
You know, he's in a better place now, but.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know that anything happened between the two of them, so necessarily.
How many times when we watched through the entire series of X-Files, were we just watching it, we were like, they're just talking about a fluke man or a alien polar bear or something, and we're
I
like,
know what you're gonna say.
God damn it, these people are good looking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Nothing happened? I don't think so. That's about it, I think, for this week's edition of the Just Enough Trope News Show. We'll be back to bring you more news next Sunday night and every Sunday night at 6 p.m. Central Time. And, of course, this is one of several programs that are available to stream at our Twitch, twitch.tv/Just Enough Trope. You're here right now. Just go, boom, subscribe, and you get notified when we go live, which, as we've said, is every 6 p.m. Sunday night. Also, every 12 p.m. Central Time. This is important. We can't help the fact that we are Central Time.
That's right.
American Mean Time. We are going live weekdays at 12 p.m. Talking about video games, streaming video games. I've been just chopping my way through God of War, Ragnarok.
Yes.
So if you want to watch me do that and maybe catch a glimpse of Deborah Ann Woll along the way, you can do that by joining us at 12 p.m. weekdays. And every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, we talk about the latest episode of Star Trek. Currently, we're talking about Star Trek Prodigy. Great show, new developments. Literally, in the case of the character of Murph, he's got legs, everybody. Watch out. Who knows what trouble he'll get into now. Join us to talk about Star Trek and Star Trek-related stuff, 8 p.m. on Thursday nights. I got all that right.
You did.
You?
You can find
Get your Twitter back yet?
No.
It'll happen.
I don't know
right
that
after
it will.
Trump.
I don't know that it will. I'm not a celebrity and I'm not a conservative, so I don't know if I will get it back.
Well, become one and then you can get it back.
Yeah, right.
That's our plan. So she's going to work on that. In the meantime, you can find all of the shows on the Just Enough Trope Network at justenoughtrope.com or linktr.ee/Just Enough Trope, right? Right?
Oh, is that right?
However the Linktree URL works. I don't know why they can't just be
I-
linktree.com. But anyway, they're
They're difficult.
tr.ee/Just Enough Trope. Everything we do can be found there. So go check it out. And if you want to help the show grow, whatever show it is, we've got a Patreon for almost every show that we do. So go to Patreon and search for Just Enough Trope. Enterprising Individuals or Sailor Noob. You can find us there. That is it for us here at the JET News Desk. We will see you next week. We are signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.